From the Oakland Hills to Jack London Square, from the port to the Coliseum, this is Talk of the Town, an in-depth conversation about the people and issues important to Oakland.
Hello, I'm Dave Clark. Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm so happy that you're here with me. I have a great program for you. My guest, I'm going to call him my brother. He's a part of my family. My special guest is Mr. Lenny Williams. You're best known as the former lead singer for Tower of Power.
Yes.
You're a great singer, an actor, and everything else. But you're here with me. Lenny, thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure. Yes, right. Yeah, hanging out with my brother. Yes, yes.
That's what we are. It is so good to see you. I really want to get to know Lenny Williams, and there were so many people who were so excited. You mean Lenny Williams is coming in? I said, yeah, we got him. So Lenny, tell me about you. Are you a native of the Bay Area? I know you've been a major part of the Bay Area for years. Are you a native?
Actually, I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah.
And I came out here when I was about 13, 14 months old. Yeah, so from Arkansas. My mom and dad came out earlier with my brother and sister, and I stayed back in Arkansas with my grandparents, and then got on the train and came out here, and we moved to 7th Street in West Oakland. And we were right where the BART station is now.
Yeah.
And we moved there, and we stayed right behind the church, Star Bethel Baptist Church. And so my three loves were right there. My family, well, my four loves, my family, and then the church. And right across the street was the boxing gym, and right down the street from the church was a radio station, and they sat in the window and played music. And so, you know, those were my great influences, yeah.
What was it about radio that attracted you? We were talking about it just a moment ago.
Well, I lived right down the street from the radio station. It was a KWBR at that time, and morphed into KDIA. And the disc jockeys would sit in the window, and they'd be talking all that jive and everything. And I just would go down there and be mesmerized by it. And so it's just something that just fascinated me.
How did your singing career begin? As a boy, or as a teenager, as a man?
Well, my mom tells a story that she had some older women from the church over for a tea. Yeah. And I guess I was about 18 months old, somewhere in that area, and I had kind of learned to say my prayers. And so she said, Leonard Charles knows how to say his prayers. And so they surrounded me, and I said, Our Father, and I threw my hands up in the air, and I said, hey, Baba Rebop, which was a hit song during that time period. Yeah. And so I guess I've been singing, you know, most of my life. And then, you know, I started playing trumpet at Prescott Elementary School in Oakland. In the 4th grade, and I learned how to read music, basically the treble clef, because the trumpet's a treble clef. So I learned that, and then I attended Star Bethel Baptist Church, and we had a great choir director, Herman Harper, and we would be in these choir competitions all the time. So I was just kind of like I was in the, you know, the tenor section there, you know, but I didn't stand out or anything like that. And then when I became a teenager, I went to a smaller church, and so it's like, oh, brother Williams, you're gonna sing an A and B selection.
A and B,
yes, right. And so so that's when I became a teenager and started realizing that I did have something special. And then there was a guy that came to our church. He had just got out of the Navy, and he had a tape recorder. And he would tape all the young people singing. And he said, everybody sounds good, but there's something special about your voice. The tape recorder really loves your voice. And so then that's really when I started like saying, oh, maybe I do have something that's different or unique.
So you're best known, probably best known, as the former lead singer for Tower of Power.
Right.
How did you get with Tower of Power? How did they get with you?
Well, it's really interesting. I signed with Fantasy Records when I was about 20. And I think I lied and told them I was 21, because back in those days, you had to be 21 to enter into a contract. And so I did a record, and so everybody was asking me, well, when are you going to, you know, do a show? And I'd never been in a band, because I just mostly sang in church. And so my neighbor told me that the mailman, his side gig was being managers for and a booking agent for bands. So I met him, and he said, I'm going to take you down to Fremont, and I'm going to hook you up with this little band called the Motown Soul Band. So went down there, and I hooked up with this little band, but half of them were still in high school. And so it's like, you know, I was 21 then. It's like, I want to play in clubs.
A real band.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
And so we did a few gigs together, and then fast forward, about a year and a half later, I was working with Larry Graham, the bass player for Sly and the Family Stone, and we were writing songs, and he was helping me out. And so he's like, I'm going to invite this band over to put some horns on some of the music we've been working on. So he invites them over, and I'm saying, oh, these are the kids from the, you know, the Motown Soul Band.
Yeah.
And we got reacquainted, and they had changed their name to Tower Power. So I started writing for them, and then eventually, you know, became the lead singer. They had some problems with the lead singer, and you know, us lead singers, we get kind of a bad name, you know, because we're out front, and you know, so we get most of the ladies and everything like that, and get a lot of attention. So, they were having those kind of problems with the lead singer at that time, and he was involved in a lot of drug activity and things of that nature. And so they asked me, you know, not only do you want to write for the band, but do you want to be the lead singer? And I was like, of course, yeah. And so,
no nervousness. You were all set.
I was a little nervous, you know, because I've basically been singing in small clubs and things like that. So my first show with the band was at Winterland and opening up for Curtis Mayfield.
Wow.
And so it's like, oh boy, you know, here we go, big time, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. When you think back to your time, how long did you stay with Tower Power?
I stayed with Tower Power about, let me see, I think I started in December of '72, and I left maybe like January or February of '75.
Okay.
So it was a very prolific time, but it was short.
Short time.
Yeah, right. Maybe about 2 years total.
What was your most memorable thing being with Tower Power?
Oh, we had some good memories. I tell you, right.
I want to hear them.
Right, yes. Some I probably shouldn't talk about. But I guess we did Dick Clark's first New Year's Eve show. And it was on the Queen Mary. And getting a chance to, you know, meet Dick Clark. I'm just standing there, and then the next thing on the Dick Clark's there, and I started talking to him, and it's like I just couldn't believe that, you know, that I was talking to Dick Clark, just holding a general conversation. Yeah.
Wow, but you did.
I did, yeah, right. I kind of fumbled my way through it, yeah. Yeah.
So being on stage, now we're going to talk about many other things, but being on stage with Tower Power, interacting with these incredible musicians, and you there, primarily good memories, or? Yeah,
primarily good memories. You know, Tower Power was, there was a time when I first got out of Tower Power, people would ask me why I left, and I would, you know, come up with, you know, it's just kind of time to move on, or trying to look for something, different type of music or whatever. And but the real reason I left Tower Power because we had a lot of drug use in the band, right? And I didn't like to talk about it because, you know, those are my friends, you know. And but Emilio Castillo, the leader of the band, said, hey, you know, he kind of was doing biographies and interviews, and he started to talk about it, and he told me that, you know, I could talk about it too, right? And so we had a lot. I think we had 4 guys mainlining heroin in that band. So we'd start off like with, "What is hip? Tell me if you think you know." It just slow down, right? And so in Houston. They have a form of rap music they call screw music, where they slow it down real slow. And it's almost like turning the music backwards. And so when I talk to those young rap kids, I always tell them that we invented screw music. And they're like, how did you guys do that? I said, well, we had 4 guys mainlining heroin in the band. And so you know, the music would just kind of slow down. So, you know, I just... So those are seeing some of the people, their lives getting ruined, you know, through that, and you know, guys that you know, that didn't make it, you know, and then you know, so that was the only, you know, the terrible part of it, you know, because you work with people and you're young and you're successful, and then you just start seeing how people and drugs and substance abuse can destroy, you know, all of your dreams.
Yeah. If you're just joining me, my guest is the great Lenny Williams, former lead singer of Tower Power, a solo singer as well, and he's also an actor too. I want to talk about that too, about all right, how are you morphing into acting now?
Well, there was a time maybe about, I guess maybe a good 30 years ago, they did the play, I think it was called, I'm trying to think what it was called, Beauty Shop, I think it was.
Yeah,
right. And it was kind of like the first time in years that it's sort of like the Harlem Renaissance all over again. So this guy, Shelley Garrett, did that play, and I mean, he was making millions, you know, because people were hungry for black theater. And so they started out, he just had a local, you know, I don't know where he was from, somewhere in Carolinas or wherever, and he just had the local people doing the play, and they made millions. And so then everybody started doing it. Everybody jumped on the bandwagon. So then they started thinking, well, how can we up the ante, so to speak? And so what they started doing was they started getting singers, you know, to help put butts in the seats, right? And you didn't really have to have any acting
you can just
ability. You just sing, right? They create a scenario in the play where you come out and maybe just sing one song and
build it around.
Yeah, exactly, right. So I did that for a couple of plays, you know, and you know, give you one or two lines, and you know, and then so then finally I got in a play, and I've looked, and that's my one line, my two lines, and then I'm getting a little nervous. It's, you know, 4 lines. And then I turn the page, it's a whole page. 4 pages. I was, oh my God, I don't think I could do this, right? And I was a great director, David Talbert. Yeah, right. And so he
very successful.
Yeah, very successful, right? And so he said, oh no, you can do it. And he just kind of held my hand through it. So, and I mean, I had a major part, and a lot of you know, the script was just me, and so I did that, and the next thing I know, I'm on stage doing a play with Billy D. Williams, and then
you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I did a show with Billy D. Williams, and did just different plays with so many different people, and Kenny Lattimore, you know, just so many. Tachina Arnold, that you know, right, that was on Martin. Right, and just a ton of people I've done these plays with. So then it was really interesting. I was doing this one play, and so they got me to play, and so I told them when I got in, I said, I'm contractually obligated to do a show maybe like 3 months down the road, and so one night I'm going to have to be out, right? And so then they said, okay, that's cool. And so then as it approached, I told them, and they had forgotten about it. And so then they said, oh, we got to get somebody. So they brought in a few people, and then nobody was working out. So then they went and got this actor, Clifton Powell.
Clifton Powell,
yeah, Clifton Powell,
oh,
right?
Sure.
Who's just like this tremendous actor, right? And so they got Clifton Powell to take my part, right? You know, sit in, and so then I'm thinking, oh, I must be hell on wheels. I mean, they have to go get Clifton Powell to take my part, right? So then I get on the plane and I'm heading to New York to do the show. Then I start thinking,
I don't want him to have my part.
Yeah, Clifton Powell's probably gonna, like, you know, just take my part and just make it, you know, just all the things that I want to do, he's gonna do, right? And so then I'm thinking, every time my phone rings, I'm thinking, they tell me, hey, Lenny, you just go on home now, you know, or we'll send you a check and whatever. And so I always tease Clifton about that, how at first I just, you know, got the big head. And then I started thinking, oh, my God, Clifton Powell's standing in for me. Yeah.
You're an actor. Let me just double back to Tower of Power. What was your favorite Tower of Power song? No,
that was actually my song. I did that after I left Tower of Power. Right, but So Very Hard to Go, I would say, would be my favorite song. It was the song that was the first hit that I had with Tower of Power. Actually, it was the biggest hit that Tower of Power's ever had. And then I think secondly would probably be "Don't Change Horses in the Middle Stream."
Love that song.
Yeah, which I wrote with Johnny.
You wrote it?
I wrote that with Johnny Guitar Watson, right? Yeah.
Don't change horses in the middle of the stream.
Yes,
That is always, I mean, that is just such a powerful song.
Yeah.
A fast-moving,
danceable
song.
Yeah. I was doing some reading. I said I've been voting all my life because my dad had to quit school in the 3rd grade. And so whenever election would come around, he'd always have me read all the election material and tell him who to vote for or whatever. And so I remember that, so I kind of enjoyed politics and the history of it. So I remember that FDR was running for office, and his campaign slogan was "Don't change horses in the middle of the street." I said, "Oh, that could be about a relationship, you know."
Yeah.
And so hanging out with Johnny Guitar Watson, and then I told him about the idea, and we wrote the song and recorded it. Yeah.
Heck of a song. What about "What Is Hip"?
"What Is Hip" is one of my favorite songs. Yeah, right. I mean, all of the bands across the country, you know, the college bands and high school bands, they play it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, just you know, I go to different schools, and they're like, "Hey, come, let's sing 'What Is Hip'." Yeah. And so that's a great, great song. Yeah.
Tell me your thoughts about Oakland and how people react to you here in Oakland.
Yeah, you know, sometimes, you know, they say a prophet's without honor in his own home sometimes, you know. So, I mean, you know, it's like you go to the drugstore, you see me at the drugstore, see me at church, or, you know, out mowing the lawn. So, you know, I usually don't like to do too much work, you know, around home. But, you know, it's like, oh, that's a guy that... It's more than lawn, you know, and I got to go pay $100 to see him, you know. It's like, oh, I see him, you know. And so I don't really do too much, but I am going to be doing a show here at the Paramount March 15th.
Really?
It's a blues show. I started.
I'm coming.
Yes, right. Yeah,
I'm coming.
We're going to make sure that you come, right? And
so it's going to be in March.
Yeah, be in March. So we'll be here February 15th, and we go to Los Angeles on the 16th, and then that show sold out there, so we actually added the show for the 17th. So I'm doing this music. It's called Southern Soul, doing a lot of that, and it's kind of a hybrid or a mixture of R&B and blues, and so I've been doing that for the last maybe 7 or 8 years, you know, just really experimenting with that and just trying to, you know, immerse myself in that, and there are a lot of young Southern, mostly Southern artists that are doing it, and so, you know, just you know, I'm learning how to say yes, ma'am, and all that stuff like that, and so it's real exciting.
You're from Arkansas.
I am from Arkansas.
How to do that.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Man. So, is there a performer you really want to perform with? Is there one person that maybe you haven't performed with them yet, but it's a bucket list? Yeah, I'd probably like to maybe do a show, say like with Beyonce or somebody like that. I don't blame you.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. Yeah.
Well, you got to make that happen.
Well, we have to make that happen. I think the best way to make that happen is, you know, having hit records, and you know, that's such a big thing now. The process of having that is so much different now with the internet and streaming and things like that. You know, so it's the innovations are exciting because it allows a lot more people to get involved in the process. But then I think I read somewhere that there's something like 35 to 40,000 new releases per day.
Per day.
Now, you know, where back when, you know, when I was 21, you know, it was like, you know, if you got 40, 50 releases a week, you know, whatever. That was big then, right? Yeah. So it's just, you know, the business is changing, but it's exciting, and you know, and it definitely makes you, you know, use your mind and you know, try to, you know, be innovative and get with the program.
Well, if you're just tuning in, my guest, the handsome man here, Lenny Williams, former lead singer of Tower of Power, solo singer, actor, songwriter, all of that, and you're here. I didn't want to leave here without talking about your family. I know family is important to you. Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I was raised by my mom and dad, and you know, they always stress family, and so I have a beautiful wife, Deborah, and you know, 6 kids, and they all are doing good, and I think I've got
13 grandchildren, and I think last year I had two great grandchildren. So you know, the Williams family.
The legacy.
Is growing, and we're excited. You know, and you know, my kids are, you know, they make me proud. Yeah, they're all doing good, and thank God for that.
Yeah, I bet you do. Is there any one thing you still want to do? I mean, I think we all keep something inside. Mm-hmm. There's something.
Yeah, well, I own my own record company now.
Yeah.
You know, so I would love to have a record on myself or someone else that, you know, my company's called Bridal Ridge Records.
Okay.
And, you know, to have a #1 record, or just a top 10 record, you know, that's on Bridal Ridge Records would be really great. I think that'd be a great achievement, you know, to kind of like, you know, it's the music business, you know, so from a business point of view, to be able to strategize and find an artist and groom them, and then, you know, get a hit record and things like that, I think would just be exciting, and just you know, just be something that maybe if I decided to not tour so much, that I could do, you know, to maybe help other people. And also just, my parents were business people. They had restaurants and things like that. And so, you know, so just see if I could apply my business acumen to, you know, to the music business.
You know, as we start to wind down, I wanted to ask you about the rigors of touring.
Yeah.
There are people who don't know, but they think they do. But it's not the easiest thing in the world to be touring.
Right. I keep saying that I'm going to slow down. My wife said, well, stop answering the phone. And so we looked at my schedule for this year. And it's like I'm working every weekend in February, every weekend in March, every weekend in April, every weekend in May, and it's like, oh, you know, I said, I think that I'm going to turn this phone off, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll be, next February, I'll be 80 years old.
Man, you look great.
Yeah, for 80, yeah. Right,
80 is supposed to look good.
Yeah.
I'm claiming that, but you look great.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And so I think I'm going to, you know, drop down the first gear, and then, you know, maybe, like I said, work on my record label a little bit, and maybe try to develop some other artists. Yeah, but so, yeah, I'm like, oh, my suitcase is David Garibaldi. You talked about what is it? The drummer for Tower Power.
Tower Power.
He just retired, and he said he came home one day and he looked, and he's like, he hadn't unpacked in 20 years. His bag was just laying there for 20 years, just ready to go. And I thought about it, and I went in my music room, and I'm like, there's my bag right there. All I got to do is, you know.
It's ready.
Yeah, right, yeah. Pick out which outfit I'm wearing, and everything else is in there, my toiletries, you know, everything, you know. And so it's like, wow, maybe, you know, maybe there's something different, you know, that I could do. Yeah. And so, but yeah, so it's like starting next week, I think, well, this weekend I go to Macon, Georgia, then I go to Birmingham, Alabama, and then I go to Fresno, which is close. I can drive to that gig with the OJs, and then the Stylistics, and then somewhere else, and, you know, God knows, you know, I'm all over the place.
So Lenny, when are you going to have me on stage with you?
Well, you know,
I mean, I could try to do something.
Yeah, but
I'm not going to steal your song.
Right.
But
the, you know, one important thing that I always learn in the music business is, don't have anybody better looking on the stage than you, so you're out.
Okay.
You're out
all
there, right? Yes.
All I could do is ask.
Yes.
Lenny Williams, I could talk to you forever.
Yeah.
But it's good to always reconnect and see you. You're one of my favorite people.
I appreciate that.
And I love your music, love your talent. And just congratulations on everything you're doing.
Yeah, it's been 50 some odd years, right, since been a professional in this in the music business, and I thank the good Lord, you know, upstairs for, you know, for blessing me, keeping me safe, and you know, all the temptations that you have out there, you know, not that I, you know, the choir boy, you know what I mean, but you know, not to get overtaken, you know, by that, and you know, and the music been good to me. Yeah.
And more great things to come. I'm just claiming it on credit.
Yeah, I'm here with the great Dave Clark. Right?
That means something too.
Right.
Lenny Williams,
yes.
former lead singer, Tower of Power, actor, performer, writer. Thank you for being here, my friend.
Yes, sir. My pleasure.
Always good to see you.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And I thank you for being with us as well. We'll see you next time on Talk of the Town.